Hello! Guys, it's time for the death stream. Music is awesome, but a little bit too loud. So, here we go. So, what can we expect? I hope we can see the final patch notes for Orochi, Shinobi, and Raider. What they're really going to do with them. Like, Shinobi was a little bit broken with his punishes. Like, side dodge kick and wall splat gives you free heavy. Or sickle rain, I mean. No. The side dodge kick confirmed the heavy attack. The heavy attack itself has a wall splat. That confirms the sickle rain. The Raider was a little bit lackluster. Like, he's such a borderline character now. Like, if you give him too much hyper armor, he will be super strong.
Come inside, Warriors. It is nice and dry in here in the Warriors Den.
Never mind, let's go.
Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm cold, bro. It's rainy and wet, and
That's why we have the den. Come inside, everyone. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got Tempest. We've got Storm Tides. We've got a very short testing ground segment upcoming, which should be fun. And
I hope that was
besides. So let's get right into it. We'll first talk about the friend referral program. So between July 22nd and September 22nd, you have an opportunity to earn rewards by inviting your friends to play with you. To refer, just log on to that website, referral.ubisoft.com/for-honor. Choose the friends you want to invite from the list on the right-hand side and select invite. Rewards are going to automatically be added to your game inventory within 24 hours of the reward level being met. And this goes until September 22nd again, so you have some time. Now, next up, Josh, what can you tell us about those Twitch drops?
Oh, yes, Twitch drops. We've been doing Twitch drops for a little bit now.
Yeah, right now, they're just doing the introduction, like always.
For anyone who was watching and wants to have drops on the stream, just make sure that your Twitch account and your Ubisoft account are linked so you can receive your rewards. And as you can see here, per 30 minutes, you can receive 1 scavenger crate. Make sure you go ahead and redeem that, all of that good stuff. And also, for every 10 minutes of additional accumulated time, you have the chance to win 100,000 steel. Matt, how much steel do you have?
Like 1 million, because I just give it to myself when we record videos, so we can get the stuff we need.
Flexing.
It's funny you say that, because as soon as I asked you that, I was just like, I have a.
There's the new season coming next week.
Yeah, we just do
well,
this is
you can be like us.
just a review stream,
like a chicken tender. Haven't said that in a while.
And
go ahead and win that steel.
We'll be live next week.
Notifications. We're excited to do this.
Yes. Thank you, Josh, for explaining Twitch drops and how much steel we have. We will be joined now by Clarissa to talk about Dominion series. Whoosh! We're back, Warriors, with Clarissa to talk about the Dominion series Stage 2 Major that happened just on August 28th there. So, Clarissa, what can you tell us about what happened?
Yeah, it was this previous weekend. We have our results. So here's the EU winners. Congratulations to Nemesis Esports for getting first. And for the NA Major, we also have Team Killing Service taking the win as well. So congratulations to our winners. It was a really fun major this time around. Lots of differences compared to stage 1. Obviously with Nemesis winning, because they did get third last time, but this time they really showed their dominance, especially in the face of adversity, since they did have a few issues, including like an emergency sub, but so did another team. Even like for the grand finals, Monkey Business was up 1, but then there was a disconnect, and both teams agreed to restart the first match. So big thank you and shout out to Monkey Business for their sportsmanship, because that's the grand finals. Whoa, woof. So that's that. So for the NA side, we had the Team Killing Service also displaying their big dominance this time around. What's really cool was that they beat Guidance Gaming in their winners final, but in stage 1, Guidance Gaming defeated them. So swoop. those two teams, they do have unfinished business. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in stage 3 for both sides, for EU and NA, because really anything can happen, even with the meta, because stage 1 we had Warmonger prevalent. This time
We
around,
did.
it's Shugoki. Like, we had almost a Shugoki in every single team. We even have a Berserker on one of the teams, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, what a surprise!
Lots of Shonkus as
What
well.
a surprise!
Oh, yes,
Can't help
yes.
but remark. Yeah.
Couldn't help with that. But we also want to give a special MVP award to Bucko on the NA side, the warlord that you see here, because he displayed lots of clutch moves, I guess. Not clutch meister moves, but clutch moves, including he won a few 1v3s, which helped secure the victory for them in even the
Hitting
grand
heavy
finals.
light.
Congratulations.
Interesting.
Awesome
But-
performance.
Yes, I agree. But that's not all. We have stage 3 coming up. It's starting on October 9th, but registrations are open now at battlefy.com/Dominion Series. And
The
for
new hero
those who
coming
are
out?
in chat
No,
saying
but
that
at
they
least
can defeat
3
all these,
reworks, so we can
players
say
in the major. Well,
we have
now's
3
your
new
time to
heroes
shine
in
to
matchmaking.
join these qualifiers. I know you won't, but you should anyway.
Oh, wow.
Like if someone
We're
picks
in the middle.
Orochi or
Please prove me
Shinobi in
wrong.
my
But
team,
I
I'm
don't
always
see your
like,
names ever in the qualifiers, so please prove me wrong. I will
really,
be very
bro.
happy.
Go earn that prize money if it's so easy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like you can also
So
join
now-
the Discord dojo where even all these competitive
How we
players
have
that you
3
see
more
on the stream,
heroes,
they are coaches. They will help you get
viable
tips,
heroes.
get good dodge, all
Like, I
the
don't
things
expect
that you want.
changes, but at least make them viable,
Absolutely.
or at least
No,
viable
and in life,
offense.
yeah.
You know,
And-
and in life. And so just join because
Raider,
everything will
Orochi,
gear up to
Shinobi
stage 4, which
has
is
unblockables.
the championship finals
After
which
the
will happen
rework,
in February. So it's not
especially
the
Shinobi.
end. You still
Raider
have
itself
time.
has unblockable.
Join up.
I
and
hope
see you on the
Orochi gets
battlefield.
side
We
unblockables.
will, and
heavies,
a quick
but it's also
reminder
fine
for
if they just
the
reduce
next
his
major.
recovery. Like recovery
when
was a
you
huge
were
problem.
watching the last major,
Like,
you could
it
watch
felt
on the For Honor stream and the
worse
Ubisoft stream
than the live
and earn
Orochi.
those
Like if you
rewards a
go
little
for the
bit
full
faster.
finisher, you can dodge immediately
and we
away.
heard you guys say
You can deflect
hey, that
stuff
doesn't-
on reaction.
some people didn't know they could do that, and some
But
people did, so it
in
created
the
an imbalance
rework,
there. So we've heard
or
you.
the
It's
rework
going to
testing
be
grounds.
you watch one stream, you earn your rewards
Yeah,
at the proper
it
rate.
was
It's going to be normal.
kind
next
of a
time.
cancel,
So thank you everyone
but
who told us that.
most of
in
the
the
time you
chat. We
cannot
appreciate it.
punish stuff on reaction.
So thank you so much,
You have
Clarissa, for
to
coming on
dodge
and telling us about
preemptively,
Dominion Series, For Honor, and
or very
Life.
often on prediction.
We will be right back with the Tempest story trailer. See you, Warriors.
We have endured. We have suffered. Yet our resolve has not faltered. Now the gods have spoken, tearing the skies. They want to remind us of our rage to live, of our will to conquer, of our dauntless hearts pounding louder. We are but tears of blood, flowing in a raging sea. But let us not pray the gods for mercy. Let them watch us. Let them hear us. Let them bear witness to us as we harness the storm. And
This is here? I mean, this is
embrace their
Berserker.
fury.
It's probably a new game mode. Not the new game modes, event mode. Or maybe we get a new theme for a map.
It was a dark and stormy trailer. That was amazing.
Like everyone
we are
likes
back
the
with 3,
dry
in my opinion, stars
theme
of the silver screen.
or the desert
Nico,
theme.
Elise, and Andrew,
on
welcome
maps.
to the Warriors Den. Thanks for joining us today.
Map? No,
Hi,
just
Matt.
new themes.
Hello.
We have a lot to get through. There's a lot of
It would
topics to
surprise
talk
me
about
if we get the new map.
with
I take
Tempest.
both.
So, Nico, what can you tell
New
us about
theme,
the
new map.
season in general?
Well, Heathmore is still very much exposed to Mother Nature's wrath this season, and after the drought, the wildfires, in Season 3, Heathmore will see heavy rains and flooding alter its environment. So Tempest is central to this season. That's going to be our main theme that will show in our platform realization that will show in our Battle Pass rewards. We will also launch this season with a new event called Stormtide, and during that event, starting
event
September
mode.
9th, and for 3 weeks, you'll be able to play and loot a bunch of new rewards and weapons. And while I'm talking about events, I want to talk a little bit about what's coming in the future. We all know season 3 is Halloween season, and while I don't want to spoil the surprise, we have something super special this year for Halloween. It's going to feel very different from what we've done in the past few years. So stay tuned for more info on this in the upcoming months.
Oh, okay.
Back to season launch now. We have a lot of gameplay updates coming. We have characters from the last testing round that are coming, Shugoki, Orochi, and Raider.
Okay.
We have
Shinobi.
fixes to option selects,
He
and
said
also
Shinobi.
dodge fixes that will make the overall combat much more reliable. We have a new testing round coming early this season. Stay tuned for the date. This one is going to go live much earlier than usual, and it will be about Dominion, rebalancing some renown gains, trying to improve some of the rules around the game mode, and also Shinobi is going to be coming back as given the feedback we got from the past testing round, we wanted to have a second go at updating our Shinobi character.
What? It didn't. What?
And
Confused.
I think that's it. I think that's it. Or oh no, I think I forgot. I forgot something very important.
One more thing.
I think I forgot something very important. You've been asking for unique executions in the past, and I'm happy to announce that Tempest season will have 29 new executions. This time only one for each character. So we're super excited about this, and we
New
can't wait to show you
executions.
a little bit more of those executions later on in the show. That's it from me. Enjoy the rest of the stream.
Thank you, Nico. That's awesome news. And yes, we will be in just a bit. We'll see all those
Classic
executions.
Orochi.
But for the narrative of Tempest, Elise, what can you tell us about the sort of general background of the season?
So this year, this is the year of the covenants, right? We have Horcrux and Chimera fighting each other, making new alliances, and then Nature's Wrath manifested itself during season 2 throughout a drought, a massive drought that struck every place in Heathmoor, and various warriors, they tried to react to that, to pray the gods for the rain to come back. The Kyoshin even arrived and tried to restore nature's balance through their actions, and now we have an answer from the gods, and it's coming from the Vikings. So basically, you had the warriors in the shadows trying to make sacrifices, but very gruesome sacrifices at times, and other times they were more worshipping nature, trying to really appease the gods. And now we have that massive tempest striking Heathmoor. So there's those cool arters that you see here and there, and more with Andrew right after. But we've also been very much inspired by Norse mythology for this season. So I was mentioning gods, and we have 2 of them showing here and there in customization, especially in those really, really cool mood effects. We have 2 versions. So one is Ran, and the other one is Aegir. It's a couple of deities in Norse mythology, and they are the embodiment of the seas and the tides and the waters. There are so many cool stories about them. No very specific visual representation of them though. So that's why we took a lot of liberties, inspired by the other sea creatures and things like that, to depict them in our game. And yeah, one cool story, for example, is they are almost like the guardians of the underwater Valhalla for people who have drowned at sea, for example. So that's one of the cool myths that's around those 2 gods. So this season, many things will be pouring and drenching players with cool executions, as we just saw right before. And yeah, I can't wait to see how the players will react to all of that.
Yeah, so the Viking prayers worked, which is good for them. So regardless of who wins the faction war, that's a W for the Vikings in my book. Yes. So that's all really cool background. Andrew, with the in-game realization itself and the map changing, what can you tell us?
Well, as you noticed by now, we're focusing on the Viking in this season. I mean, Viking had a belief in deity of the sea, which were introduced by Elise. Their legend made people to believe they had to make offerings. But for one side, they meant respecting the nature, but for some people, they believed that offering required blood. And drought made people to be a bit more desperate and difficult to make the good decisions. And this
Oh,
is
a
going to be
shot.
showcasing in the one of the map. And we worked on the three maps this time, which is the shard, as you can see it right now, and the gauntlet and the
Oh,
harbor. And each map has a different status of
oh, the
bloody.
area.
On this one, the Vista is something that we kind of focused on it too. And Gauntlet is where we see quite drastic changes to support the narrative scenes. The player will find the interesting changes of the mood from each capture points and the starting point. It may not be shown every the point, so it will be pretty interesting for you guys to find out. And of course, all the vistas are going to be changed around it. Mainly the movie, the Midsommar was a reference in this map, and it's the place to introduce the reminder of a
The
whole slew of
harbor,
decisions that were
by
made
far the
for
best.
people's belief.
You see
And the
actually
map team and
water
the VFX team
on the
worked
ground.
extremely hard for players to have a unique experience throughout this season. But not only the maps, but also menu, loading screen, and the world map as well. I might not say enough, but many thanks to the team for consistent effort and non-stop challenges. And I must say this is the only start. We cannot wait to show more throughout this season.
Yeah, thank you to the team. It looks super dramatic to see all those maps with all the changes. So it looks awesome this season. Nico and Elise, thank you very much for dropping by.
Thank you.
We
Thank
are
you.
going to come back with Andrew for the Battle Pass. But in the meantime, in between time, we have a lot of unique executions for Tempest to show you. So Warriors will
What?
be
They're
right
showing now? They're showing them now? I thought they. Okay. 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 Oh, okay. I like the twist with the dagger. Hmm. Okay. A lot of disrespect this time. Yeah. Obliteration. Okay. Okay. Hi, Sunder. Oh my god. Oh, I was hoping for a short one. Good. The one execution was at the beginning. Highlander was extremely good. Can you please show me guy, dude? I will upload this on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure Ubisoft will also upload this on YouTube as new content of the week or something like that.
Warriors, if you look up here, you're going to see some unique executions and some event weapons raining all during the season of Tempest. But Andrew, we'd like to go to you to talk about what's on the radar now with the Battle Pass. So what can you tell us?
Yeah, Battle Pass contains a lot of rain in the waters. I mean, water in For Honor it contains a lot of symbolic meanings. The water from the intro cinematic, the water in drought seasons, the water in Tempest season, they all have a different meanings behind. But one thing in common is that somehow it reveals the people's true intentions. The key art, nothing much to say, just amazing. The Battle Pass weapons, as you can see from here, is inspired by the Gaudi church and Turkish ornamented daggers. This time we wanted to make them look more like King's collections or the treasure. So expensive and elaborated patterns and
Oh,
gems
no.
were used to design them. But treasures sometimes become just rusted metal when it sinks under the sea. But still, there are definitely amazing collections that player will remember by. In contrast, for the event weapons, the water ray and the patterns that were created by the wave were used to retexture the weapons. And it's a very calm, deep sea blue will make these weapons to contain Tempest in your weapon library. Of course, the mood effect, as you can see, the weapons, but also the mood effect that will kind of show up very soon. The Tempest of Aegir and the Ren effect with the battle outfit and ornament, as you saw before, will complete the seasonal fashions.
And I think most importantly,
Oh no!
perhaps in my opinion, float and gloat signature.
What the fuck is this?
With Centurion in a tube or whatever you call this. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh no!
Your victory is going to show off your fashion as well.
And
of course,
this is very Shaolin, I think, just using the water.
Right.
That's awesome, Andrew. Thank you so much for taking us through that. Any notes of to kind of conclude on with the Battle Pass?
I mean,
I like
one in the world, but right now in Montreal,
how's
it's
it called
very hot
again?
outside. I hope you guys
Illustrious?
enjoy the Tempest that we brought to you guys, and hope you also enjoyed the 29 executions.
Looks
awesome.
really
Thank you so much, Andrew.
good.
We will be right back. First, we're going to show you the
But
Battle
the
Pass
execution
weapons,
is...
and then we will come back with the testing grounds with Stefan and Benjamin. Thank
I
you
don't
very
know.
much, Warriors, and thank you, Andrew, for stopping by.
So now
Thank you.
now the interesting stuff comes. Ooh, okay, I take everything back. The weapon looks good. Especially the blade one. I really want to know how long they took to create that Conqueror shield. Oh no, is that the Conqueror shield? Was it BP's shield? Whoa. Like that shield was fucking dope. That was BP, yeah. It looks like a butterfly. Kiri X. Did they show new armor? I think this season is no new armor. We have 21 new executions. 3 Reworks. Testing grounds for Dominion is announced. My god. The designer said the weapon, the plan is make the weapon looks really expensive, and they really do. They really look like they cost a fortune. Or maybe a kingdom. $29 new execution. I only heard 21. That can be wrong. We'll rewatch the stream anyways, so we'll upload this on YouTube. Check it in detail. Like, people often have not time to watch the whole stream, and I want to timestamp everything to make it interesting for them. Like, not everyone wants to watch the lore or watch the weapon skins, for example. They probably skip executions, rework. That's it. Maybe the weapons. A battle pass.
Warriors, welcome back to the Warriors Den. It's time to talk about some testing grounds, and of course, we can't do that without our lovely guests. Stefan and Benjamin are here. How you guys doing? Welcome.
We're doing great, I think. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, super. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a really awesome.
Stefan Javinsky, show us the way.
We're missing somebody, actually.
Please.
We can't really do the testing grounds without a certain.
I like his smirk, man. He's so happy. Look at him.
What's happening?
Look at him. They're so happy. They probably drop a bomb or something like that.
JC, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. What about you guys?
Doing good.
Yeah, super.
I'm very excited because, like, when it comes to the testing grounds, we have like a little bit to kind of get through. We want to kind of go over the
With a
previous testing
longsword in
grounds
the
that we
Viking
had,
faction, it is
what we
Highlander.
kind of learned from it. So, Stefan, why don't you go ahead and start us off? What did we kind of learn from the recent testing grounds, and where do you kind of see things playing out?
Perfect. We got a bunch of cool stuff coming at the start of the Tempest season. Some of the things will come from the testing ground. Some of it will not come at the start of the season and will be delayed to another testing ground. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then there's a couple other cool improvements that we're going to see also at the start of the season.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so we're gonna kind of go over just like
Probably
a little
recovery
rundown of what
changes.
we're gonna be talking about today. We're gonna talk about some of the Orochi
Wow.
improvements and where the team is kind of
That's
looking
better
at
say.
taking him once
Recovery
the
improvements.
once ready for live. We're also gonna talk
And
about some Raider improvements because I have seen a lot of Raider threads over on Reddit and Steam, and I know there are some questions that the community would like to have answered. And then we're also going to get into option selects, another thing we also had in the testing grounds. And
those are sorry, the big three that came from testing grounds in the
Rally
previous
Call
season.
and Vital Leech
Shinobi
improvements?
has a number of cool things in it and a number of things we need to fix.
Improvements?
So that's why it's going to go to another testing ground. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Vital Leech. Now they make me nervous because Vital Leech is the feat of TND, and TND is, in my opinion.
To see what we're doing for
I mean, if they
Shinobi,
say
V2 as
improvements,
we're kind of, dubbing him here.
I assume
But yeah, from the
buffs.
Orochi Raider coming to you also said option selects as well, right?
Yep, all the cool stuff is here.
All of that awesome stuff will be
Sticky touch.
launching
Ah, sticky
incoming.
touch.
Very exciting.
Sticky
We'll
touch
also
is
talk
such
about
a
speed
big
dodge,
problem for
fast
some
charge
heroes, especially
changes,
Warden, for
and
example.
a couple of other things
Like, if you switch targets
as
too
well,
fast and you do the forward dodge attack, you still stick on a
Tempest.
yeah.
Let's go
You
ahead
probably attack your
into
previous target
what we will be
because you
discussing
stick to him.
for this new testing ground, season 19. There's going to be a lot of really cool things. So let's start off with Orochi. Let's get into some Orochi details. What can you tell us?
Awesome. Super high level. I just want to say thanks to everybody who participated in the previous testing ground, filled out the survey, played, killed people, got killed by people, all the good stuff. We need your feedback, and this is why you're going to see some of the improvements that are being made to both Orochi and Raider that are going live with the testing ground improvements.
So probably
and also why
some
we'll see Shinobi
property
at the
changes
end
on
of
his
this
dodge
in the,
attack because I don't think
in the next testing ground.
there's a heavy attack.
The loop is basically we require your input and your help to make things happen. So you're going to see some results of that today.
Awesome. Now let's now JC, why don't we go ahead and get into some of the good stuff about Orochi.
Dodge cancels, yeah, they have to be improved.
So,
There's
first
no
of all,
way
Orochi,
around.
I think from what we got from the surveys and what we've seen from the community, was by far the most well-received one out of the bunch that we had. People were super hyped. There was a lot of really, really good stuff. The main point that we got, I think I saw it on Reddit like a million times, is dodge cancel timing, right? So
yeah,
a lot of people were kind of unhappy at when you could dodge cancel out of stuff with Orochi. So we're gonna go over it, but that was the main sticking point.
So if you play Orochi,
changes based on feedback.
it's a hardcore Orochi main.
One by one.
Sick, let's do it.
Oh, wasn't effective
so
for
first up,
fights,
we have
yes.
dodge cancel,
Now
I
at
was mentioning,
200
right? So,
milliseconds after
it
every
wasn't as
recovery
effective
can
in
now
group
cancel
fights as
dodge
we
attack
expected.
recoveries
On
as
top
well.
of getting a lot of feedback how it felt maybe like a bit unresponsive or not super
But you
good.
can dodge attack and
The other data that
cancel
we've
that
gathered
one
was that
into
it wasn't
another
as strong
dodge?
as we wanted to. So because of that, we've put it at 200 ms
Wow,
after every
that's
single recovery. It used to be at 333.
that's
so now
actually
at
insane.
200,
Okay.
it's a lot more effective. You can dodge out of stuff. You can also still delay it up to a 333. So it gives you a bit more flexibility in how you can use it. Try to get some like meaty deflects and stuff. So that's kind of cool. And we also added the possibility of dodge canceling dodge attacks as well. We weren't able to before. We were a bit worried about a bunch of those things, like having people do dodge for its kick over and over and over again, for example. So now that we're a lot less concerned with that one specifically. So with this, we can cancel your dodge attack recoveries with other dodges. So that's pretty cool. I can't wait to see those anime things with that riptide into riptide into riptide.
Opener damage reduced on average by 2 damage. Zone attack is now changed, so that's good.
It was on normal Orochi, and the main reason for that is because with the introduction of the kick, certain things would have been guaranteed at
so it's not a free
times,
GB.
like the 200 ms time that you see here.
Spot.
So we've adjusted a couple other things to try to compensate for this, so you're not guaranteed to get a kick after something else.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that makes a big difference then too. All right. So other changes, right? So
Midcast now beats uninterrupted restraints.
RIP.
RIP.
Was a bit overtuned, was a bit too high. especially with all those combo lights.
Now you can't do
we've reduced
shit against
the
Berserker.
damage of most of Orochi's openers by 2. It kind of varies. Yeah, it doesn't sound like much, but it actually
Zone
makes a
attack,
bit of a
light dodge
a bit of a
attacks are
difference.
back to light. Yeah,
So
it
that's
has to be.
interesting.
Like,
The other
otherwise it would be too
really
annoying.
top requested feedback was that zone attack still felt a bit lackluster, was not super useful. You kind of like were stuck when you're using it. You had to dodge cancel. So it is now officially a chain starter. So we're gonna have video at the end of this. We can show you, but zone attack counts as an opener, so you can do dodge attack and dodge attack, zone attack rather, into combo light, into like dodge.
I
cancels,
hope
into
they
whatever finisher,
don't
do whatever you
stick
like.
with the
Pretty good.
guaranteed second light.
We've
Very
also put
don't like that
light
one.
dodge attacks back to being light parries. They were heavy parries as kind of an experiment that we ended up like it was in as a bug. Oh, yeah, right. So that's it. So we kept
Nice.
it at
What was
heavy
Windcast
parries
again?
just
It's
so
the
we were
light
trying to do something.
deflect.
But it turns out that it's a bit too strong for Orochi. He has really good dodge attacks like Riptide and stuff. Extremely
Like
strong.
there's Windgust and
they're
Hurricane
back to
Blast,
being light
but
parries,
Hurricane
so,
Blast
Orochi's
moved
can't
now,
just
so only
constantly
Windgust remains,
side dodge
and
light or
Windgust
Riptide
can
and
now
never get punished for it. So that's pretty good.
punish
And last but
uninterrupted
not
stance.
least, another thing that was
That's really
brought up by a
important
lot
if
of
you fight
players,
against
was that
Berserkers, for
Windgust, which
example,
is the deflect
or
punish,
Raider.
did not beat armored attacks, right? Uninterruptible stance is
Like
armor.
often if you can
So it did
predict
not beat
Raider's
it. So you
moves,
couldn't
like you
deflect
dodge,
somebody and then
no, you deflect his
do
dodge
Windgust
attack,
into armor and not
punish
beat
him,
kinda like what
but he
Valkyrie
can
can do,
keep
for
chaining
example.
into another
So now
heavy,
Windgust
so the
properly
trade
does that.
is
So,
most
you're pretty much
likely
guaranteed your Windgust every single time you match.
in
It's
Raiders'
which is
favor,
really
or in
useful
Berserker favors, because they
Orochi.
can keep chaining.
So we can have that video now for a zone attack if we want, Max. Yeah, Max is superstar.
Oh,
So yeah, we can see now that's it. So zone attack goes into top heavy finisher. You can do combo lights. You can do whatever you want. It
this
basically is a
might
chain
be now the optimal
That's good
punish.
stuff. I definitely do think that having changing the
In the team
changing
fight.
that's probably going to do a lot for Orochi. And as someone who's been trying to learn Orochi, I'm very excited to have kind of like more goodies to play with. But let's get over to Raider.
Like
Let's talk
in the
about
past, he
Raider.
was forced
Raider
to
is
do a side light
Raider's a
attack,
big fan
the
favorite,
direction
right?
of
And,
the second enemy.
I've had I've seen a
Block stun
lot
him,
of feedback.
but
I've
now you can
received
zone
massive
attack
documents
into
from some
unblockable.
players in the community with what they'd like to see done to Raider. So
And
yeah,
zone
we can
attack,
get into it. Steph, you
what
wanna
was it
walk us
again?
through, like, a bit of the
14
feedback that we got?
damage plus 5?
Sure. I mean,
Was it
a lot
5?
of it was
Or was it
quite well
two? I can be wrong.
received. There's some questions about like, hey,
But this is now
should the Stampede charge
above
really be at
average
500
damage.
MS, for example, which I mean Ben will talk about when we get to crashing charge as well. Armor timings, some of the chain rules that were a little, let's say, old school on Raider. It's like, hey, can I be a little more free on this character and effective with my
Didn't say anything about the kick. Why? Or should they? The
Okay,
kick is a decent
I
move.
think the changes we're gonna have are gonna make some players, especially one specific guy, who, like I said, sent me like a huge Word document with like a university level dissertation of what to do with Raider. So I think that person should be quite happy with these changes.
I commend players that have the patience and the time to type long stuff like that out. I've seen a lot of them.
Like honestly, it
gets
was
read. I mean, like people
Yeah.
don't believe we read it, but I mean, if you get there and it gets on the front page, we're gonna read it. So
yeah, and like honestly, I'm
Help me.
joking about it a little bit, but it was super appreciated. And so like whenever we get like any feedback is good feedback, so we're always happy to take it and read it. And
Yeah, Rito, thank you.
okay, so let's go through it, right? So first up we have uninterruptible stance timing. Again, that's armor. So we gotta be careful.
Now?
So
Like
now
100.
we have armor at 100
Oh, that's
MS
really
on every
early.
heavy attack. A lot of the feedback we got
That's
from the
super early.
previous timing was that Raider was really
Whoa,
weak in fights. He was
bro,
getting interrupted
holy
quite a
shit.
bit. So with this change, it's a bit back more to what it's on live right now. It's a
Yeah.
super tiny nerf to the heavy
So
finishers,
better not
that
dodge
were at
attack
0
against
MS.
Raider now, huh?
But otherwise, like at 100, it's still really good. You can still trade with dodge attacks. You can still do a bunch of different.
Hyper
things
armor
with
is
that,
mid-chain,
so
I know.
Really, really useful.
But
so
that's basically how it is in life.
just a quick little bit.
But
of
now
info
you
there is,
have
like, we can't have it at 0
stunning tab
for rollback reasons.
that is
we
basically
can have it later.
unreactable and enhanced now. Plus
Honestly, I thought more people would be mad about it being earlier.
a
but
good
they want
hyper
it
armor.
earlier,
The only
so,
good thing
okay,
about
cool.
Yeah.
Raider
Let's
is
do it.
the hyper armor and the big hitbox.
All All right, so next up we have chain improvements, another big thing that people are
Light,
super,
heavy,
super excited about.
lights.
So you can now do
Heavy,
Raider's
heavy, light.
Storm to Raider's Fury, right? So you can do the full Raider copter as much as you want.
Oh,
but
but
yeah,
no,
that's really
more
good. The other
variety in
things that we haven't
chains.
listed
Thank you.
here, but that's important to note.
Please
'cause
add
that's a
this
lot
also
of-
to
another big
Lawbringer.
feedback that we
Thanks
got,
in advance.
is that the Raider Storm, which is the neutral zone, was costing 12 stamina. It's up to
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Just because like it was super easy to get massive pressure when somebody was out of stamina. So we changed that a little bit, but there's compensation for it a bit further down the line, so we're going to be good with that. We also added new chain routes for Raider, another big requested thing. So Raider can now chain to his light finishers after his second
Raider
hit
is
in
good
chain.
now
So
in matchmaking.
you now have light, and heavy light as chain routes. Should help make him a little bit less predictable and have a bit better flow, and you're not forced to go into your heavy finishers or like your Raider's Sphere or whatever. And last but not least, Storming Tap rather, now changed to the second hidden chains instead of chain to finishers. That's also another really big change.
Yeah, that's a good change.
That's super useful for Raider
That's a good change.
because it lets him. You're not stuck whenever you used to land the Storming Tap.
I can explain you
would
later.
always go into your finishers, and those finishers were like, yeah, okay, I can't really keep going. So it was hard to use in chains, and you kind of felt forced to reuse Storming Tap or whatever. So with this way, you can do Storming Tap into a heavy, into like a zone attack or a light finisher or whatever you'd like. So that's really strong. We have a video for this as well, Max, if you want to play it.
Okay, I explain you detail now. Like every time when it's Storming Tap, you always go to the finisher.
Zone
That
to
means,
zone, right.
like he explains,
Can we call
like
that the storming storm?
The storming is
like it has pro and cons.
very fitting
Now,
for Tempest.
finisher deals
Yeah,
the
so
most
you see we have,
damage.
like,
So,
heavy,
for example,
light,
if
and
someone
it's
doesn't want to
super
take your
useful.
pressure,
He's really
just
good.
dodge attacks
And with
or
this, with
just
the
dodge
change
away.
release,
If he goes for the dodge attack, he will
back to
probably
back.
eat the heavy
Quite
finisher.
interesting.
That is big damage. Not worth the trade at all.
Sick.
So,
But in most cases, I prefer to keep chaining,
attack
to
speed.
keep
So-
up the
More
pressure.
buffs.
And the problem
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
if
more
he
buffs,
also
right?
dodges
That's
the
one
finisher,
of the
it
things,
is
like we didn't do that many.
like if you say,
Raider was
okay,
better
fuck it, I
than
commit,
Testing Grounds, but it was still a
he
bit
just-
that needed
he
a
just
bit
dodge
tweaking, so we're super confident.
Storming Tap, and then you have to
So,
go,
yeah, so
you have the
speaking of,
decision, another Storming Tap
compensation,
or
I said earlier
heavy
for,
finisher.
Raider Storm being a bit,
You say, okay, I'll go
costing
for the
more
finisher, he
stamina,
dodges it again,
is,
and it's
we've
basically free
sped
chibi
up,
for him.
Raider's neutral heavy attacks. So top of your opener rather is now 900
You
milliseconds.
deal slightly less
It's your
damage,
go-to,
but
light
you
heavy
have
punish. And then the side of
more
your
options.
openers are 800 ms. So you can use those as guard break punishes now. That's part of the intent, right? Where before you would always use your zone attack, and now it costs more. That was part of why it was costing 12 as well. So now with that back to 20, the side of the finisher, the side of the openers rather being 800 kind of helps making sure that you can actually land more damage in case you don't want to do Stampede Charge.
Bro,
And
oh
Raider's
my god, I
Fury,
don't want to fight Raiders anymore.
966
Oh
milliseconds.
shit,
That might seem like
when I
a
think about it.
slightly weird number.
I was gonna ask about that. I'm like, it's a very specific number. Why don't you tell us what the reasoning behind it is?
That entire 33 milliseconds is the difference between landing a Storming Tap, going to Raider's Fury, and being interrupted or trading and not, right? So with this change, Raider can do Storming Tap into Raider's Fury, and if your opponent was mashing light to interrupt, not
But I
only will
hope
not
they add
interrupt,
one
they will
thing to
trade,
Raider.
and Raider is gonna win every single time in this situation.
The most important thing
So
for all heroes.
Again, it looks like
It is
that was
mandatory.
33 milliseconds,
Yourself.
but that makes
I
a
hope you
huge
added it.
difference on Raider.
It is a forward dodge attack.
Beautiful.
Or forward
Yeah,
heavy
and
dodge
then,
attack.
This is one of the, I think,
To catch roads.
the last huge thing on Raider that
Oh no, no,
a lot
not
of people were talking about. Like,
how is it called again? The forward dodge light attack?
Players that I was seeing that
They have to improve
they
the
actually
tracking of it.
preferred getting like trading with Raider's Fury, just because the recovery of a lot of his attacks was super long. So we did a pass on them, and they're now maxed out at 800 milliseconds. So it's not as like the ones that were faster, like for heavy finishers and light finishers and all of his light attacks, are still going to be 700 on hit block.
The forward
but
light,
on
yeah,
miss
but
and
the tracking
for his
was
other attacks as well, they're
mediocre.
maxed out at 800, which means
In many
that,
cases, you miss
frame
your forward
advantage
dodge light
should have, like,
if he
much
rolls away.
better control over Raider's attacks, and it should really help with his recoveries that were quite long. Some of them were.
Now they only
like,
have to
over
improve
a
the tracking,
second, and so
that,
with this,
or the
it-
range,
it's a
or
significant
whatever you
buff
want.
to Raider to his
But it has to
credibility,
consistently.
it's
If you
much
see
better
he's rolling away, you're doing it, has to
There was one
consistently catch the row.
similar thread that came through for both Orochi and Raiders, like whether it's on recoveries or chain rules or dodge timings on Orochi. It's like I want my character to feel good,
Yeah.
and then separately viability we talk about, but feel was a big one in this testing ground.
Yeah. So it's super
Yes, but
important.
it's
So
not
that's
going
it
to
for
be
Raider.
effective as
So
cancel,
we're
for
gonna look at
example,
the
and
other changes
get
now.
punished. No, it doesn't matter.
Do you
Like,
believe
you're not
that one of the
throwing
changes is
forward dodge
option select?
attacks
Now, I was one of the many members on the community team that
out
was
of a
keeping an
neutral
eye
position.
on like option select kind of feedback. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I definitely do think the change on TG was very well received. A lot of players seemed like the game like breathed new life into the game.
Point
which is nice.
is to punish
So,
people
super
on
excited
reaction
we're
when they
finally
roll
being able to
away.
get this into the live build, so players can play around and you know not lose their matches hopefully. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about
Yeah,
option selects.
okay. So option selects are in. So the improvements that we did on the test
Ah,
grounds
okay, I
are
see.
going in as is. Including zone option select. I know some people are going to be a little bit disappointed that they liked it, and that it helped players defend in group fights. But at the end of the day, remove from this is the big better.
What's that?
I'm just watching Stefan like laughing and
Me,
like,
me.
yeah,
I thought you were
screw these guys.
editorializing. I didn't know I was. What? No. No,
Yeah,
no, no. It's
so
it's
these are all
it's it feels a little shocking at first. If you don't know what option selects are, don't worry about it. The only thing you need to know is that you were
Yeah.
losing matches to people who knew what it was.
Yeah.
The odds were very skewed against you. They weren't
Yeah.
making reads. They were just screwing you with mechanics, basically. So
Yeah!
that's really nice.
Hell yeah! You said it,
Two,
Stefan!
kill B2
Bro.
for ultra top
My
level play.
favorite, dude.
We will see as time goes on. But the game is so much healthier, so much better.
Yeah.
And then you got me editorializing, but like this is a good change. Everybody enjoy it, please.
Like, I really want to.
and
Like,
without,
they have to
you
keep
know,
doing
you can-
this,
Internally,
improving mechanics.
We've been playing with this on for like a couple of months now, and I think nobody on the team that's been playing can say that the game doesn't like objectively feel way better.
It's
like-
scary at first, though. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like we were scared even in our.
Stefan is the man.
sessions and so on,
Stefan
but,
is the man.
Over time, you're actually like, it slightly changes the dynamics from defense to offense.
Like, if they also.
But the
I
games don't
mean,
become like
I think
bizarre, broken because of it.
the
It feels good.
pressure is not
I'm sorry,
that
Gunnar,
much.
I think you're
What I
both
That
noticed-
too. It's not that.
Like I thought,
Or it's not too
like,
high
good
or that
players would
much.
kinda
If
be
you
brought
can
down
really
to our levels because now they couldn't do all of the
read,
option select stuff. But
or if you
really,
can
if you're a good
calculate the
player at For Honor,
situation.
you're still a good player even without the option select. So like, don't worry about that too much.
And
But get
if they
adjusted to
also
it and you'll
improved
still
like
be,
parry
in
stun,
groups, just like
mean,
before.
I mean,
like that's the difference
all three
between
of
hit
us
stun,
get
block stun, and parry
regularly
stun. If
bodied
they
by
fix
KLX and Nuke, so
parry
it's not,
stun, like you
it's not
cannot
like they're not
be
good anymore
bashed
or,
or grabbed
doesn't
out of a
exist.
parry stun. That would be also
One thing I wanna
great.
add, though, is that
And
the tech that we
revenge
have to clear
packs
option
is the
selects,
problem.
deals
Like
with
if
the
you have
vast
to if
majority
you have
of
to
them.
fight 280
There's
Kiris, one guy is just flickering
that I won't go into
unblockables,
detail because it's like pretty
just charging is
complicated. That we
unblockable.
got
The
feedback
other one
on
is doing
during testing
anything.
grounds
Like
that, is a lot
it's
more
also
complicated
awkward.
to use. That is not addressed by this, but we're gonna
But
address
this,
it in the further.
but if they
updates,
really
looking to
actively
make sure that it's also
try to
fixed.
gank, I think it's okay if you take one or two
Awesome.
unblockables.
Super excited to hear about that.
Oh,
Is that
In the end, you're not supposed to win
is that
1v2.
a rally call?
yeah.
Rally call.
Fixed ready call and now Blast
We're
50.
not doing that now, are we? Like,
that
I thought
supposed
we
to
were gonna
work?
wait a few years again.
I thought we're supposed
No.
to right? Like
Yeah,
that was intended for
Wait.
That's the joke.
Wait,
I-
they
I-
normalize
One of
Vital
his
Leech
videos that,
now.
like, we
It
kinda
is now
teased it
only
with
one
different
value.
just,
I can explain you the difference. Vital Leech is the
but yeah, I liked how
TND
Joss kinda
level
went over
3.
it and skipped
If
it
you
because he
fall
got
below
distracted.
50 health,
That was hilarious.
you have
I
a
was
life
like,
leech
chat is probably
around,
just going crazy
no I
right
can't
now,
be wrong,
but we completely ignored it.
20% or
So, yeah,
25%.
I didn't
And
do
if
it.
you drop
Win
below 25
did it
health,
for us.
you have a life leech of
So he fixed rally call.
life
So if you're playing
leech
Joss,
of
wait for it.
50%, I think.
He's not dead. He's not dead.
No
by the way.
worries.
Okay.
So yeah, the rally call now actually does something. And we also did something to how it considers, critical and very critical health.
Yeah,
So
very
now,
critical health.
when you're below
50%.
50, it's going to activate, and it's not going to get better when you're at below 25.
Yeah.
So it's
Like
an
you can't
even
really
better feat
live on the edge
if it had worked
if
all
you're
this
very
time.
critical.
and the Vital Leech also got the same treatment, basically. So look forward to getting that feedback into your feed selection on this hero and see how that feels. Yeah.
I mean, I have no
Try
problem
that
with
one more
that.
time.
Giandy is never the
If you
strongest
just
here,
tried it out for 3
and
years,
he
it's
was
fine.
also
Try it once
like
more.
I never had
Give
a
it a
problem with him,
whirl.
even when he unlocked all his seeds.
So yeah, no,
Since
these
Giandy
are
is
all
not the
of the
best when it
changes
comes
that we'll
down
be
to farming.
launching with Tempest. When
If he unlocked
it comes out
everything,
on
he was
September
basically
9th.
stomping
And
everything.
now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get into the new testing grounds. Wait,
Sorry.
Dodging is
just
no
wait,
longer
wait,
based
wait,
camera
there's
orientation,
more.
but now
More.
based
There's
on
more.
player
but
input.
wait, there's more.
Thank you.
I
Sticky
thought it was
dodge.
gonna be late season 2, but I was proven wrong as well. So check this one out. Sticky dodge.
Yeah. So sticky dodge, right? So if you don't know what sticky dodge is, you probably have experienced it, but you didn't know what was going on.
Sometimes this messes you
It's
up
a bit of
in
an
big
issue
team
that we
fights.
had in the game where it
Like
typically
especially
happened
in
when you
big team
target swap
fights,
during
you have
an
to
attack, right?
switch
So if
to off new target.
you would dodge in the game in relation to where your camera
And sometimes
was
you have to
facing.
dodge
If your
away
camera was, like, if
because
you were seeing
an
yourself
unlock
and you
unblockables
would
flying
dodge
towards
to the
you.
left, like on your if your controller you did left and dodge, then you would dodge to the right because you would move in relation, you would dodge in relation to the camera. So they made like some super really weird situations. Sometimes you would try to back dodge and you would front dodge and like all sorts of weird things. So we've actually addressed this, so we're no longer in those sticky situations.
Oh.
That was not the easiest one to do. So basically, dodging is no longer based on camera orientation, but it's based on player input. So right now, if you hold left and you dodge, your character should always dodge to the left.
Thank you.
Or to the right, or whatever direction you were holding. The important thing to know is that this should be fixed for pretty much everything, but there might still be some dodge attacks that might have issues with like targeting. If you do experience those, please report them and we'll look into them, make sure we're going to be fixing them. But overall, this issue should be really fixed and it works so much better. I remember, Ben, I don't know if you want to recall when the first time you tried it out, how happy you were.
This is low-key the best change, like since release. This is the best fix.
Okay,
like
if you say
people
so.
don't even realize how frustrated they are at sticky dodge. I think like they think, oh shit, why did I not dodge in the right direction? This game is bugged, and they didn't even realize like there was like a game-wide thing, right?
Yeah.
And now it's fixed. So it's like mad props to this. It's so much more fun to play the game now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I mean, great job to everybody on the Forerunner team.
No
All these things
long
is- It's
wait.
amazing to see.
No
So we
longer
got what? We
chain
got one
into
more before
itself.
we get into the testing ground, I think.
Benjamin's getting
Yeah.
excited over here.
Yeah. So I
Crashing
like
charge.
at the start. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it said crashing charge improvement.
Crashing
so
charge.
we made it
Warlord
really
nerf.
big, right? So now when
Warlord
you hit someone,
nerf.
you teleport to the nearest ledge and they explode into a glory of guts. So yeah,
Can no
it's
longer
not an
chain into
improvement,
itself.
it's a nerf,
Thank God.
because this move is crazy.
Yeah. No
So
longer
first off,
unbalances. Oh, that's a
when you
big
get
one.
someone
No
with
longer
crashing
unbalances
charge
out
as
of
a
stamina
warlord,
opponents.
it's no longer a case of even if a catapult hits you, you're still
No,
gonna
every
get
warlord is
thrown
triggered.
off the
No. Oh
ledge.
God. What?
Now there is a
But it
reaction
was
when someone hits you.
a broken
There's
move.
no super armor. There's no
Such a broken move. It
complete
doesn't follow any
invisibility going
rules.
on anymore. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you could crashing charge into a wall, let someone go, hits the wall, you go back into unlock, you run, and you crash and charge him again, into the wall
Exactly.
again.
And do
He
the
has no
same.
stamina. Alt F4, I don't know. Game's over. It's really annoying. So,
What do you mean, man?
yeah,
Well, like
you could
Solo
also
Infinite,
get
like getting someone to a ledge from
yeah,
40,000 miles
there's
away.
a notorious video that we watched where it's like the guy is like full stamina, gets hit on the wall like 2 times, has no stamina.
Yeah,
gets
and also,
unbalanced,
okay, this is.
Warlord eats
I don't
ice
have
cream
a
cone,
problem with the
runs
stamina
at him,
punish because the
boom,
stamina
unbalanced
punish
again,
is immense.
a little
Massive.
quick selfie or anything, and then he just
In
does this again
combination
until he
with
reaches the ledge.
it can
and the
chain
guy
into
just dies,
itself.
and it
You
was the
can
saddest
put
thing ever.
people so fast
So
out of
now,
stamina, and
crashing charge
because
no longer unbalances
you
people
unbalances people,
that are out of stamina. So
just insane.
now you know you should no longer be
It's
adding
just
infinites
insane.
with crashing charge. It's still
Oh.
a great move in itself.
Would
but
Warlord
I
be out
feel
of
like
meta
when you
now?
removed all of the
Tricky.
really overwhelming elements.
a really good
of the
question.
move. So here's hoping.
We will,
that
of course,
meets
lose a lot of potential now.
our
but
players'
what it-
expectations.
We've
So,
slowed it down too a bit, right?
we slowed it down a bit. It was, I think, 700 ms. Now it's 600 ms. So it's on par with the new Stampede charge, basically.
Yeah, so both end up at 6 at this point instead of 5, which we tested, I think, later on in
But-
testing ground. So that's super cool. I think less solo infinites is always good. And it's going to be interesting to see
it's
what
a
happens in
huge-
the Dominion series with
huge bug fix.
possibly the strongest character or very close to it taking this nerf.
Yeah, Warlord's a crazy meta pick, so
Yeah. I mean,
Crashing Charge was
He's
a
very
bit frustrating,
simple,
so I'm happy
but
that
super
we're
strong.
kind of making some changes to it. And I also like that you mentioned Dominion, because now this is the perfect segment. I was getting ahead of myself earlier. Now let's talk about the new testing grounds, which will be running from September 16th to September 30th. Again, we will also have a
Yeah,
Shinobi
hero
V2
reworks.
version in this round of testing grounds, which we will get into in a little bit. But let's go ahead and start off from the top and talk about we're going to talk about some of the Dominion game mode changes, which I kind of mentioned.
Dominion game mode
earlier.
improvements.
I think we're starting with Shinobi, dude. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
Probably renowned gain.
I would
Like I don't like the idea of a different renowned gain, like hybrid
excited actually. But yeah, no, let's start with
or
Shinobi.
tank or
The
Vanguard
first
gets
round, we definitely did
2
see, like, a lot of
renown per
positive,
minion
reactions
kill
from
and
the
an
community.
assassin
There
are
are
pretty
a couple of things that they are looking to
much useless,
see,
but they
kind of
don't
improved
profit
on and tweak
at
a little
all
bit.
when
But
they're
let's
clear
go ahead
minions.
and dive right into it. What do we have?
So yeah, so Shinobi
Strong
was
due to bugs.
actually pretty well received.
Openers are
despite,
not
like,
viable enough.
some
Oh,
hate for some
tricky.
people. The idea being that like Shinobi was a bit too strong, partially due to some bugs that we've addressed.
Yeah, out of
but
neutral
also
he
because of
has
some,
not
like,
much,
other
but
weirdo issues with some stuff that we're gonna go into a little bit
yeah,
deeper.
I mean if they fix the
other
bug,
issue that Shinobi's had was that
especially with the wall
his
splat,
openers were not viable enough. Namely, dodge for a kick was not as strong as it should be for a lot of different reasons.
and then you can
And,
say he's a little
Shinobi
bit
also
weak
suffered
in
from
duel.
some input leniency problems. I'm happy I can pronounce that correctly.
But thanks to the high damage,
Yeah, so we've made some changes to that as well. All right,
it's
so let's get to
awkward.
it.
We're going to talk about wall splat eventually, right?
Yeah. Wolf Plat.
Alright,
Yeah,
There's
what's that?
a lot of wall splat coming.
Okay,
That's a
so
bug,
first
not a
off,
feature.
Move bleed damage from sickle
so we
rain.
removed
Shadow strike.
bleed from
Shinobi?
Shinobi entirely. I know some people are going to be disappointed. Oh, I like that my Shinobi would make people bleed, but there's a lot of good coming from removing bleed. Right, so we remove bleed damage from sickle rain, from shadow strike, and from teleport.
Oh,
But all these attacks now deal direct damage. So Shadow Strike, which is the light parry punish, deals 18, and Teleport now deals 24 upfront. I think people are going to be super excited about that. Bleeding there didn't make much sense anyway, and it's also a lot easier to balance, and it feels better when your damage comes in right away.
yeah.
But you do lose a little bit of.
Like
synergy
I don't know
with
what the
Bushi or
synergy is of
Shaman or
Shinobi.
whatever, but
Yeah, I mean
at
you
the end of
can
the
gang
day,
with a shaman
like,
now, or
Shinobi
Bushi
did not need
profits
that,
from
and
the
it's also,
damage,
this is
but
also kind of a bit
most
of
cases
of an adjustment because
just
Revenge
better
is, like,
to deal
Revenge is
direct
not
damage.
affected by bleeding. So if you bleed somebody, it doesn't feed them extra revenge. This now does. So it has an effect on when you actually land sickle rain, you're not able to do it infinitely and go, I can never pop revenge. So that's
And that free Predator's Mercy, man. I'm going to miss
yeah,
it.
I know. It's, Shaman is Steph's baby. So.
No bias.
So sickle rain, right? So we did a couple of changes to sickle rain as well. It's no longer accessible after a guard break. We had initially done that change to kind
Oh
of
what?
have the same feeling as you had when you did a range guard break. You can go to a sickle rain immediately, and also made Shinobi super threatening whenever you did like feint to guard breaks and stuff. But it was honestly a bit too strong, so we removed that direct link immediately. You still
So
get heavy.
some roads go to sickle rain. Not all roads now.
Not some of those roads have deviated to other outlets.
Right.
So
Now
it's
deals
only
also 20 damage
accessible
up front
from
and
heavy finisher
3
now,
per
right?
Stab, so for a total of 29. Damage is a bit on the low side for a heavy finisher, but it pins you for so long
Yeah.
that it makes total sense. You still get free heavies from allies and stuff, and that's pretty good. It also no
Yeah,
longer
exactly.
ignores pinning rules. That was an issue that Shinobi on live right now, as some people have seen in videos and stuff, actually still has, but because Sickle Rain was so much more easily available. It was super apparent. So now you can't have a Shigoki, for example, do a Demon's Embrace on somebody and then have a random Shinobi just Sickle Rain you out of it and still pin you. So that's also a really good
Oh
change.
man.
And it also no longer
The
drains
pinning
stamina.
rules
It
was
used to
just
drain
insane. Like you
30
could,
stamina when it
you could in
landed.
theory,
It was done in a bit
you
of
pull
a
it
weird,
off to an
janky way.
infinite Sickle Rain.
So that's
You
all
have
been
enough
removed.
Shinobis.
So Sickle Rain should be a lot healthier now, and it's still a very strong tool. It's still a super good ganking tool. Still pins for a long period of time. Still really easily accessible. And the changes from the previous testing grounds are still in, right? So it's still unblockable from top, undodgeable from sides, all that good stuff. So that should still it's a change. It makes it a little worse, but it's still a very, very, very good move. Next up, we have ranged heavies. Oh my god! So yeah, it was interesting,
No
right?
longer wall splats. That's
The wall
very
splat
important.
was
Probably a bug.
granted a bit too strong, mostly
Oh.
because you got free Sickle Rains afterwards. I think that was the source of
No longer target
a lot of
swappable.
frustration.
That's bad.
But on top of
That's
it,
bad,
the
actually.
other issue that people
I don't
have
like
with
this.
it was that you could target swap it, and we had intentionally done that target swap, right? So you could actually be good with a Shinobi in a group fight, and like let's say you start with somebody, you kick them, target swap, throw out a range heavy at somebody, go back on your main target, roll, and do all that sort of good stuff, and that felt really good. But the problem was that you could still get an off-screen, relatively highly damaging bash that you could not see coming at all. So because of that, we removed the
Oh,
target
I don't
swap
like
from range
that.
heavy. You can
No.
still target
The thing
swap
is, you
front roll,
could
though.
dodge
So you
attack
can still
someone
go
and
on a
target
single
swap
target, dodge
and throw
kick
the
into range heavy,
melee
target swap,
attack
roll,
heavy at
and it's still
someone.
gonna work.
So you
But
can
that's it.
basically
It was a
keep
little
two
bit
guys
too
occupied.
too frustrating for players. So we removed the target swap from it, and
Like,
because we removed
thanks
the
to the
target swap from
property,
it,
like
it no
you're
longer
throwing a
made
melee
sense
attack
for
to
that
the
range
second
heavy to be
guy, he
accessible
has
after
to
a
dodge. He
backflip,
cannot dodge forward,
because
he
it
cannot
just, it was
throw
so easy
an
to dodge that it made zero
uninterruptible
sense to
attack.
use it.
He will
So
eat
the main
it,
purpose
he
of
will
having it after
get
a backflip was
staggered.
to target swap it.
So you
we removed
basically,
it made no sense really to have it there.
you're safe for this one moment.
It sounds like it'll be a lot less, not really spammy, but I guess just frustrating, just constantly just getting
Like, just imagine
splatted.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
For sure. For
The
sure.
other reason too is that like
a regular bash
you'll see
gang.
there's some changes
One
to
guy
backflip
is
too
watching
that
you,
also
one
make a
guy is
lot of
trying to
sense in
bash
that
you.
regard.
You bash the basher,
Now it's input
throw the
leniency.
attack
Did it
to the
again.
other guy.
So we
So
adjusted,
he has to be forced
like,
to dodge
usually say
away from
comfort,
this
you know,
range
but
attack.
I gotta be fancy.
So you are,
Um,
at this moment, quite
so we
safe.
adjusted it a
Like,
little
if you're
bit on
going
front
to,
roll follow-ups and on shadow strike.
like, basically,
So
now you have
front roll,
to
a lot of people
bash
didn't
the
seem to
basher,
kind of like
and then you have to wait.
grasp
If you
where
commit
we were
into an
going with
attack,
it,
you
which
leave
is
yourself
fine.
vulnerable.
That's my mistake. But the idea was that you would front roll and you had like a huge window to buffer your follow-ups, whether it was the flip kick or sickle ring. But because that
This is
window
a
felt a
practical
bit
example
unnatural,
for.
people didn't really take to it, and they would typically like hit the buttons late, and then the wrong thing would come out. So we've actually made the input window a bit longer, so you can actually do flip kick and sickle ring a bit longer, a bit later after you do a front roll. I have to warn you though, if you don't buffer it, it might not be as strong against players who early dodge it.
Range heavy is
But
damage
at
and
least
bash.
the comfort's
The
going to be
damage
there,
and
and I
bash.
think you get to play as it.
Or it
It
was.
makes sense. The
It
other thing we
is,
did was
but
for
you cannot
Shadow
swap it
Strike,
anymore.
the window we had to actually use
So that's
the
what I
Shadow
mean.
Strike
You
was
cannot
so
dodge forward.
tiny. Ben remembers this when we
He
were
has to
doing,
do a side dodge.
Centurion. There we had like some super small input windows, so it's now much bigger. It's a lot easier to land the Shadow Strike and go into your mix-ups when you manage to parry. So that also feels good.
In Paris, so that's why it's
Okay,
strong.
front roll and back
I
flip.
mean, yeah.
So we've done a couple of changes to those as well, so that they feel more like they're dodges, right? So they now have iframes.
Damage on that
300
was not that high.
milliseconds on front and back. I think backflip having
Oh,
iframes is one of the things that people have been claiming for the longest time since we lowered the range that it had. Before you were like it would go back for so far that it was kind of crazy. But with this, at least, like you're able to avoid attacks with it. That's pretty good.
Okay.
But they no longer have guard break vulnerability. Invulnerability, rather. Sorry, that's a bit of a typo there.
No longer
So
have
you
guard
can get
break.
guard broken when you're doing a front roll or a backflip. So the idea is that it's more like a dodge, like I said. So you have to be a bit more careful when you use them. But you're still you should be able to avoid attacks with it, which is kind of like
That's
more
good.
what
Like
dodges do. Backflip also now can be accessed after most attacks on hit, block, and miss. Back to how it is on live, pretty much. So you can people that miss doing a light backflip, you can now do it if you want. Although you're not really gonna get a range heavy afterwards. So, no. But that's part of why we also removed the range heavies after backflip. Is that since you can now backflip on command on a bunch of things, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be able to just off screen backflip into a range heavy into something, right? But with this, what's interesting is that it gives Shinobi a lot of options to avoid dodge attacks and to be able to be a bit more mobile when he's playing. So that should really help him out. And last but not least, front roll has extra forward movement. Some of the feedback we got from some players was that they like to be able to target swap front roll, but it didn't go further enough. So he would just like target swap front roll, and Shinobi would be like, "Oh, what's a roll?" And then he would just like roll in place. Kind of
What's that?
what's that, right? So he would just like
Yeah.
do a barrel roll in front, and you wouldn't go anywhere. So that didn't really work well. So we had those changes as well for those two moves. And then finally, this mostly affects dodges and double dodges. So we removed the ability of double dodge to dodge backwards. That was still a problem. We got a lot of feedback from players at higher levels that
Double
saying, look,
dodge can no longer
Shinobi is still
dodge
so
back.
slippery
Yeah.
that I can't do anything about him because he still
It was a
does,
great tool to
side
space.
dodge, back dodge, side dodge, back
So you
dodge.
can
So
side
that felt really
back,
bad.
side
So we
back,
removed
side
that
back,
completely.
and it's hard to catch
so
that.
Shinobi can't just run away from opponents as easily as he could before. But double dodge can now access
Double
openers
dodge
that he cannot live right now. So you can do
access.
side double dodge
Dodge
into a
can
light,
now
into a
access.
heavy, and get those options back. We had to remove them because they felt a little bit weird to have on those double dodges, but a lot
Oh,
of
so you
players said
can
that they were actually
double
really
dodge and
useful,
throw a
like,
light or a
using them, so
heavy?
we put them
Okay.
back in. Another thing that we're trying out is that front dodge kick. You can now do it at 200 ms from front dodge, and you can delay it up until 500, compared to before where it was 300. So that's a test we're also doing to see if it actually helps, because we know that when it's at 100, it's super strong, and at 300, depending on what the character can do. So some characters that have like dodge for like light or heavy options, for like Zanhu, for example, you can't just go, oh, I see any type of red and I dodge and I beat everything. So with this, hopefully it's going to be a bit harder to react to, and at especially high levels, it should have a bit more viability. And the last thing we did was that double dodge now costs 6 stamina. We had removed the cost on it because it was like, okay, well, we want to have Shinobi to be more mobile and stuff. But again, people were like spamming double dodges and like running circles around people nonstop. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, we don't want people to be able to just infinitely dodge. And also because the double dodge grants a second deflect attempt, right? You kind of have to have some sort of small cost to pay to be able to have that sort of strength, but it's still pretty
I
strong.
really wish
That's it
I
for
can fix
Shinobi
that somehow.
That's awesome. All right,
Like,
now before we
make
start
side
showing off
deflects more
the
consistent.
Dominion changes, I
They
took
did
a
an
little
attempt
gander
on that,
to
but
see
they
what we're
also messed
doing
up with
to
the
Dominion. Now, mind you, this is for the testing grounds. It's not going live
dodge
right
iframes
away.
on
So
bashes.
definitely, once
That's
this
why they
testing grounds
reverted.
goes live, go ahead and give us your feedback. But
Let us guess what it is. Renown gain, probably.
The reasoning behind wanting to kind of tweak Dominion a little bit and kind of do what we're doing with Dominion. I don't want to spoil it, so
I guess I'll spoil it a little bit then. Basically, with Dominion, there's a couple of problems that we experience in the game right now. Like one, how predictable is it from game to game? Like, when are you getting your feats unlocked? When are the renown bonuses coming? There's a number of renown bonuses. You'll know Ace. You'll know some other ones that are like
the renown bonus
happen at pretty
on
unpredictable times. Let's
defended
say
points.
Like, either you'll get it and suddenly your team will be rocking, or you won't and your team will be losing. And the other one I can sum up in a nutshell that I think everyone can relate to is like, I'm an assassin and I either got my tier 4 in like 3 minutes, or I never got even out of my tier like 1 and 2 the whole game, even though I dominated.
Yeah.
It's quite.
I get it.
Yes, exactly. It's quite feast or famine for especially for assassins, and so we're trying to smooth this out a little bit.
I agree.
And I'll let Benjamin, I think, hit the real notes, but I think that's a high level.
Awesome.
Too late. You spoiled it.
I spoiled all the good stuff. Sorry.
Spoiled it.
All right, Benjamin, walk us through the changes that we are bringing to Dominion on the testing grounds.
Okay.
I don't like graphs or weird things like this with multicolors and letters and numbers. So
Like
explain
defended
this to
zone
me
kills.
in
Holy shit, yeah.
easily as possible.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. But still, take out your monster or something because you're
Like
gonna be hearing me
assassins
talk
have
over graphs
such a
for a
horrible
while.
time to level up.
Or drinks.
So yeah, first off,
Like,
for
it
sure.
was like-
So we're doing a huge thing to Dominion, right? It's very scary for us because it's our most favorite mode. It's our most popular. So we are doing definitely a testing ground on this, and we're going to be needing your feedback. So please go play this thing a lot so that we can look at the data,
Can you
and
not
then
just
figure
make
out where we go
universal
from here.
renown gain for
So
everyone? It doesn't
here we
matter
go.
if
So first
you're
off, the
heavy,
thing that
hybrid,
steps is
vanguard, or
important for us
assassin.
is that yes, Vanguard, assassin, heavy, hybrid doesn't matter. You kill someone, you're going to get the same amount of renown.
Oh, the
contest
unit.
the zone,
Okay,
you're going
I
to
take
get the
everything
same
back.
amount of renown
TG.
per
I
minute.
didn't saw the
You
last
kill
column.
a minion, and you're an assassin. You're
Oh, hero
not gonna
kills
be
gives
like,
you
I'm
always
getting
20
half the
renown.
than everyone else.
Minion kills
No,
gives you always 2
everyone now
renown.
gets the same amount
Kill
of
assist
renown.
gives
So
you
that's
always
the thing
8
that we
renown.
expect everyone
Defended zone
is going
kills.
to be on
They
board with.
removed
Like,
that.
you're gonna love this.
Yo, okay,
Is that what you're
okay.
saying?
Now we're talking.
Yeah,
Now we're
you can be
talking.
an Orochi laner if you want. Do light heavy
Boosting zones.
and
24.
zones and be out of stamina. I think no, honestly, he's still probably gonna be a bad later, but at least he's not gonna
So
feel as
now
bad
you
doing it.
encourage. What is
So,
the best way to
we
farm
also kind of standardized
renown, aka
values of
feats?
doing the
Hero
actions
kills,
in Dominion. So if you look at the top, for example,
team fights,
on the hero kills, hey, go back, Mark.
and of course minions.
All right. So yeah, if you look at the hero kills, you'll see that in the TG on the right is the values that you're going to be having on the
Oh,
testing
thank
grounds.
God. Revive
It's
only
at
20.
It looks like we're doubling the
Really?
amount of renown for each kill, but what this is not saying is that we have removed basically all of the special
Okay, that's good changes.
snowflake rewards that you got for getting hero kills. So basically,
Oh, the
whenever you
last
made a
column.
kill,
Let's
you
go.
didn't get, for example, if you're an assassin, if you didn't get just 11, you got 11.
Like I also did a
minus
Twitter post
a value,
about that.
you
Like I
were
see no
doing a
reason
Deshona
to
Rabul
differentiate
fight,
classes.
in a 3v1. But maybe you got some renown for killing the guy that just killed you, and
What's
maybe some
TG?
other
It's testing
renown
grounds.
for doing
Like they
a
will
3v3. So this is what
put
Stefan
that
was saying
rule
earlier.
set to the
It
next
made
testing
things
ground.
very confusing for us. It made it confusing for you, and so we decided to scrap most of them. So now what you're seeing on
Like
screen right now
assassins
is
are
basically
not the
all
strongest class.
renown sources in Dominion now.
Like most
That
of the
is all,
assassins are not
except 3 of them,
good.
which
Something like
are
that. They
Revenge, Streakbreaker, and
they have to
Comeback.
fight
So,
heavies that already
when you
profits
get
from
killed a
perks,
bunch of
so
times,
it's
if you
harder
get
to
a
kill
kill,
them.
you'll get a renown
They get
bonus.
less
When you
renown.
break someone's streak,
Many
you get a bonus.
assassins are not suitable for team
And
fights
when you
unless
kill whoever killed
because
you,
Berserker
you get a
can
bonus. So what you're seeing here is that we're
do
kind of
insane stuff
encouraging
like that.
these
So
comeback
assassins have a
mechanics,
real
basically.
bad time.
If we go down the list a bit,
That's
you'll
at
see as
least
well
a
that
slight
defense
improvement.
zones,
Improvement for
the
assassins.
notorious defense zone has been completely killed. So now, what it used to happen is if you were a Vanguard and you killed someone in your capture zone, every friend that was in the capture zone
Yeah.
got 25 renown,
Like I
including
don't know
yourself.
if you
So you can
realized
understand
that in my
at a high level,
videos, but
people
every
might
time
not wanna go
when a
take
match
that other guy's zone when the
I
whole team
always do
isn't
one
there,
thing.
because you
I
might
go
be
to the
giving
side
like
point
100
or
renown
home
to the other
point
team like super easily.
and check the
So
situation.
we
Is
just axed it
someone
completely. So it's
trying
not
to
there anymore.
backcap our home point? If he do so,
Otherwise,
I will
you'll
kill
see that
him.
the
I get
contestant
the
boosting zone
defended
values have
zone
been changed.
bonus.
I'll let you do the math on that one, but basically we want
And
we
try
want you to be contesting zones
to
more
steamroll with my unlocked
and
feats.
boosting zones less. So really, this is also that
Oh,
people
snowball.
feel more encouraged.
Like you want to
go
have,
get the
you want to
opposing
unlock
zones.
your feats as fast as possible.
All right, now Max, you may go forward unless JC and Stefan have some comments on this one.
I mean, honestly, I'm psyched that I can play assassins now and not have to rely on getting a million kills to get my feet. So that's, I gotta say, we've been playing this a while internally, and it felt so much better.
Yeah,
And as you say,
Feed 2
oh,
is
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that just
unlocked
like the
earlier.
standardization of
Well,
record
feed
down
4
is
is
very
unlocked
it's
very
nice.
late.
I've seen a couple threads and
360
players
now.
kind of talking about that. So congratulations, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Let's not mention
Now
that
it's okay
glitch
to
has been
die on
going on for
zone.
years,
Yes.
but
Now
it's fine.
backcapping.
So,
Like if you try to
live,
backcap and if you fail,
as you can see on the left,
you don't
you'll
punish
see
the whole
that
team by feeding
you
them.
get your feed 1 at 58, feed 2 at 155, feed 3 at 265, and feed 4 at 335.
Like every time when I see
These
my
felt
teammates
very
are pushing
arbitrary to us, like, no
their
one
home
really
point
understands
and they're losing,
anymore,
I always check the
why these
scoreboard.
values
They're
are so
already
weird.
unlocked like they're level 2 and level
So
3 and
first
I
off,
have
we
to
made
deal
it
with that
more,
shit.
standardized, and we also made it so um, if you get to your feed 3, you won't accidentally get your feed 4 at the same time because the gap between feed 4 and feed 3 is super small. So now you get a progression going forward. So feed 1, 2, 3, and 4 are progressively longer and harder to get. And we've also raised the cap at which you get feed 4 to 360 so that we can more freely add some renowned sources in the game
That's an interesting
without
change.
necessarily making everyone get their feed 4 way too fast. So that's it for that.
The funny thing about this one is it seems like actually it's going to be harder to unlock feats, but in reality, it turns out not to be because of the way we've redistributed the points. And I mean, especially when you get your feed 2 and your feed 3 a little more predictably, you can
So
use them
guys,
to get your
stick with your
kills for
teammate
feed
and
4.
try to win the team fight now.
So I think you'll
and
find
try
when
to
you
clear
play,
the
try it out a few
mid
times
lane.
and see what you think. But
Okay.
I think you'll find you'll hit that 4 a little more reliably.
Definitely. All right. Next, the zone
Players
capture
in
speed changes.
capture
So, as you know, if there's one person on a capture zone, it's going to take 5.5 seconds for him to capture the zone. But if a dead ball comes in, it takes 0.9 seconds. So, good luck countering a dead ball coming into your zone and capturing a zone. So we scrapped that whole concept, and we are trying to see what happens if
That's
no matter how many
awesome.
players are in
You know
zone,
why?
it's always
Because
going to
if you
take
start
5.5
fighting
seconds
on
to
your home
capture.
point or on their home point whatsoever,
So really what we're
and
aiming to be
if
doing
one
here is
dude
making
is dropping
capturing
a
a zone feel
snowball
more
in
like
a
a
gank,
commitment,
they will
and
capture the zone in
to
2
allow
seconds.
more of a counter
So
risk
now
when you see two guys kind of walking
can
into your
at
zone and you're
least
just like
try
a
to
little
get out
far,
in 5 seconds
you will have time to reach
to
the
deny
zone
the
and
cap
prevent them from capturing, getting renown,
and
and
therefore
turning
to
the
prevent
tides.
their healing.
So I think that's a
And
very
also
interesting
some
change,
situations like
on those.
Yeah, I think
Next.
started to back cap now.
Well, if,
Oh
just
yeah,
like
sorry.
no, it's okay. What's interesting here is that like I know I've been talking to a lot of pro players and they're telling me that
And
typically what they do at the
especially if
start
you
of a
win the
match
team fight.
is that they have one player go to their home point and then the other three start roaming. They go into the lane and they start to do a bunch of different things. So that shouldn't really affect at super high level how this plays, but it should also help players that are starting to go, okay, well, we're gonna send one person to our first point because we don't need to send 2 or 3 or 4 people there anymore, and it kind of helps with that. And also, what I think what we're hoping to happen is that when you have like 3 or 4 people, if you're trying to go contest your opponent's home point, and then you get there, you start capping it, or something happens where they kill you, and they have to you manage to cap it. They come back, they kill you. It's not going to get instantly retaken, so that makes a huge difference in giving your team.
I can give you so many examples why it's good. Like we all know the situations. You're defending your own point. You're the only one
capturing zones
because everyone's dead. And they have heroes that can push this you away.
And just rotate between,
like for example, Warlord.
home and B and all the time. So that I think that should be really interesting.
Yeah,
Demon
and then
ball.
like when you
Like
when we kind of like made the
they knock
changes
you
now
out
that
of the
you still
zone
kind
and
of
they capture the
mentioning,
zone
if you
basically
want
in
to
2
kind of
seconds.
contest zones
And
more,
basically GG. They will keep you
the amount
outside.
of players
You
on the
have no
zone
way to
not
get
really
in.
mattering,
They will heal.
it just allows you to have more time to get to
It's
like
death
a certain
sentence.
point to
Now at
contest it.
least
So
you
I think it's
have
really
a
nice,
slight
really nice.
chance to get in 5 seconds.
Yep. And
Without
to
capturing
finish it up,
the point.
we have some changes to the hard points. So these are the points that you need to win a
Up
Dominion
points also.
game. If you look on the left, you'll see that when you were controlling a minion lane, you would get 1.35 points per second. But if you're controlling one of the capture zones, you would get 0.75, which is laughable. Like really, it's just really bad compared to the minion lane. And don't forget that while you're controlling the minion lane, you can still kill minions. minions, which give you hard points as well.
Finding small buff to
So
PK
really,
and
there's
on
no
bit
contesting that
true.
the
Like
control
you,
minion lane was the
you
place
apply a
to
lot
be,
of bleed
the
to them.
biggest source
You step
of hard points, as well
outside of the
as
zone.
biggest source
Oops,
of
all my
renown,
bleed is
because
gone.
killing minions also gives you renown. So what we're doing here is really lowering massively the worth of controlling a minion lane to be the same as controlling a zone, and we've raised the worth of controlling a capture zone. Uh, Boosting a zone, we've
Would
left
it increase the
mostly alone
heal
because
rate
we feel
back? I
the
don't
value
know.
was already quite high. But this way,
So
we
far,
want to
I'm
try to
very
see,
pleased with the
like,
changes.
what if all 3 points kind of had more of a balance of like, okay, so the mid lane isn't necessarily the end all be all place to be for hard points. So we want people to kind of consider all 3 points and kind of spread out more
Yeah.
in a game. And really, that's about it. So as I said, we're going to be going to testing ground with this. We're going to be looking at the data.
Okay, it seems they
and
doesn't.
we are
It won't improve
fully
the healing
committed
rate,
to
but it does.
keep going at
That's
this
important.
until players are mostly satisfied with the values we'll be bringing. And our hope is to make the game more balanced. So stick with us, help us with data, and hopefully we'll make the minion more fun for y'all.
Yeah. And there's a reason why it's 2 weeks too, right? Is that we want to give players a lot of time to be able to play in that mode. And I think because it's Dominion, my hope at least is that everybody is going to be playing testing grounds instead of playing the regular playlist, just because, well, you're playing Dominion anyway, so why not go into testing grounds instead, right?
Right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an
good.
it's an opportune time to do it. Does anyone have any final thoughts? Because we did go through a lot. So
Too
if
bad
anyone
they
has any
didn't.
Yeah,
final
Oh,
so
wait.
everything that I just mentioned is going to be in the blog post when it's out. So there's going to be a huge detail of these same graphs with some developers' comments that summarize everything that I just talked about.
We have the same for Shinobi and for the other teams as well. You can look for a blog post. Should be really interesting. And like I said before, feedback is super important. We look through it. Like I know I people don't believe it there, but I spend probably too much time on Reddit looking at like all the feedback I can get there. A bit on Twitter, a bit on the official forums as well. But like anything you say, and, yeah, and don't forget the survey as well. Like we look at everything, but yeah, don't think that we don't listen. We're not looking at stuff or whatever. We're like on the prowl, hardcore for when the testing grounds are happening. I tend to stay up late and read Reddit too much, so it's not good for my health, but it's good for the game.
Yeah. like 60% of my job it requires me to talk to players and gather feedback. So please give me something to do. I would very much appreciate it. But Stefan, JC, Benjamin, thank you much for joining the show today. For the quick TLDR for those who probably who may not want to watch the whole thing, Raider, Orochi, option select changes. These are coming with the launch of Tempest on September 9th. Then
Next
Shinobi
week,
V2,
boys. Next
all the
week.
changes to Dominion will be in the testing grounds second week, September 16th, all the way to the 30th. And as these fine gentlemen have mentioned, definitely go ahead and send us your feedback and give us all of that awesome, recommendations, anything you like, you don't like, what you want to see changed. The survey as well. Definitely go ahead and check that out. And yeah, Warriors, we'll be right back to kind of recap everything. And maybe we'll have like a goodie or two in there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll be right back.
Thanks, guys.
Warriors, what an episode of the Warriors Den this was. I said Warriors twice, but that's okay. Matt, how'd you feel about the show today?
I felt amazing. It was really cool to see your testing ground segment that you hosted with the fight team. I always just love seeing them go into like detail about the stuff that they care about, like the Dominion retool, for example. So it was a great show with a lot of great segments.
Yeah, I half the time when the fight team were like talking, I'm just sitting there just like listening because I'm not a dev,
Gaming
so like,
cost
I don't
couple.
exactly know
Hello.
how the process goes. But
Thanks for the sub.
for them to kind of
Sorry,
just
I
go
was
into
too
detail about
focused.
stuff was super cool. We also got to hear from Nico, Elise, and Andrew to talk about Tempest, Storm Tides, about the inspiration for the season and what are some of the art and all this really cool stuff. So, and of course a round of unique executions for Tempest, which I'm pretty sure everyone is excited about. And yeah, so we are launching Tempest next month, and we're also going to be dropping a new roadmap. So Matt, let's go ahead and talk about the roadmap and see what we're going to be dropping?
Yes, September 9th, Tempest and the Storm Tides event as well. And the Battle Pass Points Fest will be happening right away, September 9th through September 13th. So get in there and start playing right away. We also have on September 16th through the 30th there, the testing grounds. And it's crucial that you play that and get us your feedback because it will affect the Dominion game mode going forward. Your input there. So please play it and let us know what you think. We also can't keep Shinobi out of it. He keeps coming back. So he will be there too with his changes. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. And is that a slapping emoji?
Slapping shared
Slap off?
emote. Paired emote. Whoa. 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 What are you doing? Oh.
Is that a high five?
All right.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
I didn't know which way to turn. Sorry.
It's okay. We have strong
Oh my god.
force powers here.
10K
That's our
steal
pure
for
emote.
this, by the way. I should mention that. 10K steal.
I thought it was a high five, but
If you are looking to
Why
slap
not?
your boys around, I don't know.
For those of you who aren't looking to slap your boys around, Wolves from the Door, if you're a Marching Fire owner, is available from September 2nd through September 9th. The Slayer Challenge with the, so be the faction with the most takedowns performed to take this little competition. Josh, which faction you got? Who's going to take this? Samurai.
Mikey.
Samurai. Either way. We also have the Wrath of the Ormagander throwback event from October 7th through October 14th. Big hammer, big snake. That's all you need to know about Wrath of the Ormagander. It's a great event. We're excited to have it come
oh
back.
shit, my cam.
And the Dominion series, Clarissa came on and told us a bit about it earlier. You can still register at battlefy.com/Dominion series for the stage 3 portion and get in there and back up all that stuff you're saying in Twitch chat about how good you are. We'd love to see you register. You won't.
You won't.
No, you have to. So register and you can still play that. Josh.
It's a
what
brief
a long,
event, yes.
Strange trip it's been.
So basically, you're playing Hollow Fortress and the big serpent
we're all very excited
spawns.
for Tempest. We're super excited for everyone to kind of try
And
out these
he's
Dominion changes
casting
over on
some
the
kind
testing
of
grounds when that
spell,
goes
and
live.
the
But yeah, Tempest drops some
Mjolnir
get your ponchos, get your umbrellas,
appears,
get
so you
your,
can use it if
your
you light
parkas,
attack
your,
to smack people around, and
I
the
don't
heavy
know,
attack is
what other
basically a
things
one-shot
can be used to
AoE.
not get rained on.
Houses?
I think I have a
Houses,
few
get your
videos about it.
house, Get your car, get your I don't know. Thanks for joining.
It's
the
actually a
Warriors
fun
Den,
game
everybody.
mode.
This was a great show. If you are watching on Twitch, be sure to follow us on Twitch if you are not already, so you can catch all of our awesome Warriors Den episodes. If you're on YouTube, hello, hi, come over, join us on Twitch, and you know, basically, so you can catch all the stuff that I just said previously. Be sure to also follow us on all of our social media platforms at For Honor Game, and we'll see you in the next one. Get your umbrella out. It's gonna be a wet one. Later.
Later.
Yo! I would say next season will be a good one, since we have more heroes to play now. Like Radar will be good, but I mean, and at least in matchmaking, Orochi, vast improvements, especially Dodge Carry are important. What else? Zone attack is finally now a changed starter. TG for Dominion also sounds awesome. Makes finally more sense now. And of course, option select removal. I'm playing for like 2 weeks without option selects, and I have to say it's way more fun now. Way more fun now, because you're actively trying to read people now instead of just throwing zone attacks. And now I can throw a zone without people, oh, he's doing an option select now. No, I know exactly people will just cancel that shit just for a GB when I'm surrounded, so I need a zone. Smoke bomb is still in the game. Yeah, it's still in the game, but it loses its effectiveness in the big team fight on the zone, since you still need 5.5 seconds to capture the point. And it doesn't matter how many people are on it. In a really crowded space, yeah, it's really good, still good. But the most broken part was like capturing the point and healing on it. Like in the team fight, you can get smoke bombed and you can external block people. Not that troublesome. So guys, I will upload this on YouTube with timestamps. Hope you enjoyed it. What do you think, guys? Doing all the generic YouTube stuff now. So, you do make a good point, my guy. By the way, I have an anti-gank YouTube channel. You inspired me to keep up. Guys, I can encourage all people. Just do whatever you want. You can do duel videos. I also encourage you to do the minion videos. Like, I think we need way more minion content creators. Like right now, just me and Barrick. And I think people learn actively from these videos how to behave actually to minion. Show us your dog, please. Okay, guys. Before I end the stream, I'll show you my dog. Nami. And she comes. There we go. Hello. I cannot pet her. Yeah, I have to hold the camera. Hey guys. So, see ya tomorrow. I will stream For Honor again and Chivalry. Peace out.